Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Country Club Leaders Podcast. Today, we have with us Mark Stevens. Mark is the Director of Agronomy at the Royal Palm Yacht and Country Club. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you very much, Mr. McMahon. Thanks for having me.
Glad you could make it with us. So I got to start off. I know you're a hockey fan. So what did you think of the Florida Panthers winning the Stanley Cup this year?
Well, I have to start off by saying that I'm first and foremost a Montreal Canadiens fan.
Oh, okay.
But I have been living here in South Florida for almost 30 years now, and I actually coached a couple of youth hockey travel teams down here in South Florida for 13 years. So I'm well in tune with the local hockey down here, and there's not many things that are going to help youth hockey in Florida than what just happened to the Panthers. Even though they almost gave me a heart attack after game 4 and 5 and 6, it was great to see them pull it off, and I'm really excited to see the benefits that it's going to bring to youth hockey in Florida.
I tell you what, I'm a New York Ranger fan.
I'm sorry.
And that series was really tight too, you know?
It was. It was really. It looked like that series was going to be much closer than the Edmonton one, but little did we know.
Yeah, the Panthers definitely earned that Stanley Cup, that's for sure.
They did, winning it at home like that in Game 7. I mean, I remember a quote right before the game that I'll never forget. It was right before Game 7. One of the announcers said, "It's either going to be the greatest day in Panthers history or the biggest collapse in NHL history." So
Right,
they
right.
they really had both ends of the spectrum there, and luckily for us, they chose the right one.
You know what I liked? I read a quote, one of the Edmonton Oilers. They were down 3-0, and they asked this guy, "Well, what do you think?" And he says, "I'm going to find out what my teammates are made of." That was a
Sure.
pretty cool statement, you know?
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah. Listen, especially at that level, these guys are all professionals, and they train for this stuff and prepare for this stuff so much. I really don't think, no matter what situation you're in, those guys don't have any quit in them. They're obviously paid high dollars to perform, and they're all professionals and step up as best they can when they need to.
So, getting away from the hockey for a second, tell me your first experience with the agronomy side of the golf industry. You know, how old were you? Where did it all start?
Okay, well, that makes me start way back. Prior, I'm, as you know, I'm from Canada originally. Been here 30 years, but at the time when I was a young lad in Canada, I was a big hockey player and trying to pierce in the hockey business, and it was a natural thing for me to work on a golf course in the summer because it really matched with the hockey season. As soon as hockey season was over, summer hit, hockey training was over, and I went to work on a golf course. My father had a close friend that was a superintendent. His name was Jocelyn Bourget. He's at Club de Golf de Longueuil, just outside Montreal, and he took me in and was really friendly with me, and was kind of feeding my passion about golf. And I raked bunkers for him for 2 seasons straight. Like I said, in between off season from hockey, started doing bunkers there, and just moved on slowly from there to mowing tees, changing cups, and he's the one that really gave me the bug for it.
And how old were you then, Mark?
I was 16 the first
16
year that
years
I
old.
started
Okay.
doing bunkers. Yeah, it made me, back then we weren't allowed to work till we were 17. So I actually volunteered the first year just just to get on the team and get some free golf. I was always been a big golfer, so at the time it was my way in.
So you worked there and you broke in. Now, where was the next move to in the agronomy side of it?
Okay, from from Longueuil. As soon as I graduated high school, I made an attempt at a professional hockey career. So
Wow.
I left for a few years. I was in Europe trying to pierce in the hockey business. Fact that I'm sitting here now tells you that I didn't do so well over there. But nonetheless, a great experience traveling and
Well,
a
I
little
tell
bit
you,
of the
you got to give yourself credit. You went for it. You gave it a shot.
Exactly, I did, and I was somewhat talented, but I was a defenseman at the time, and quickly realized that wasn't big enough, and I had a little bit too much of a temper for my size. so, so that led to injuries and downfalls, and I quickly realized that. I'm not going to be doing this for a living. So packed up my things, and my father at the time used to own a big bar downtown Montreal. And I was at the time I was in Switzerland. I was injured, and I said, "Okay, this is not going to work. Let me go back to Montreal and work for my father a little bit, figure out where I'm going to go to college, and do all that." So as I'm working over there, I actually met a young lady by the name of Stephanie at the bar that, long story short, she was just going to college herself. She lived in Canada, but she was American. And she was leaving to go to Florida to go to college. And all that sounded really, really nice. 6 months later, we were married and we moved down to Florida. We both went to FAU here together. And we've been here ever since.
So did you start working at golf courses down in Florida?
I did. I started working. My first job in the United States was at Adios Golf Club. Used to work at Adios late '90s. I was under Mike Bailey at the time at that golf course.
Okay. And what'd you learn at Adios?
Oh, well, I learned about the high-end golf courses really quick in Florida. Little did I know, Adios, obviously one of the top golf courses around, and men only. And I quickly learned about high-end golf in Florida and what it really took down here versus a little bit of the northern climate of Canada that I was used to. Things quite different, obviously, with the heat and mowing and a little bit bigger challenges down here. So it kind of opened my eyes to that side of things here.
I remember Adios had some kind of unusual greens, don't they?
They did at the time. It was an Arnold Palmer design. Had some great greens, undulated and always fast, and conditions always mint. One of my favorite memories from Adios. After work one day, going out by myself, playing a few holes, and there's a single behind me, so I kind of move over to let him go through, and he waves me up, says, "Hey, do you want to play with me?" And I turn around, and it was Bernard Longer.
Wow.
He
Wow.
used to come out there in the afternoon. So I think a couple of occasions I played a few holes with him. At the time, I was a young, 24, 25 year old. I was really impressed. I'll never forget it. And turns out that he won the Champions Tour event that I hosted here at Royal Palm. So
Wow.
it really took it full circle.
Did he remember you? Did you talk to him at
He
all?
did. He did actually. He
That's
did.
pretty cool. Yeah.
His daughter is a member here as well, and so I do see her and say hi once in a while.
I tell you what, he's kept himself in shape almost better than anybody in golf.
It's unbelievable. I forget who it was. I saw something this week. You know what? I think it's Padraig Harrington. He gave him praises like that are so well deserved about his work ethic and preserving his body and everything he does to the work that he puts in to get the results. It's really impressive. Funny part about the tournament we hosted, the Bernard Langer's caddy. Before the week before the tournaments, the caddies all come out and they read greens, and most of them are here 3 4 hours. They go through the golf course. Well, Bernard Langer's caddy was here for 7 days straight, 8 hours a day, sir. I
Wow.
almost we almost got intimate because he was always in my way. So excuse me, we're mowing, excuse me, we're rolling, excuse me. So we started talking a little bit, and yeah, the work ethic that Bernard Langer has definitely was passed down to his caddy because he was here 10 times more than anybody else. Which
Wow, it's interesting.
yep.
Interesting. Yeah. So you went from Adios. What was your next stop?
After Adios, I went to Banyan Golf Club. Banyan Golf Club's a nice other little gem in West Palm Beach, Florida, a little bit out west. Had the pleasure of working under Clint Smallridge over there.
That's another high
So
end place, pretty much, right?
very much so. Yeah, I believe it's at the time, or it might still be, it's a sister course to High Ridge, and a lot of the same members from Banyan and High Ridge and those courses. Great golf course. Real pleasure to work for Clint Smallridge. Clint, he's really the one I owe the experience of how to make Tiff Eagle greens fast. That's really where I learned it. I always knew how to grow grass, but he showed me to get to specialize a little bit more and how to do it. And very grateful for my experiences with him.
Uh, so what was one of the secrets to keeping Tiff Eagle greens fast?
Well, there's a few. Moisture management, probably the biggest, I would say. What we think is happening with moisture versus what really is happening with moisture is it could be two different things. So working with facts basically is what he showed me to do. They look dry, but are they really? So moisture management, fertility management as well, just managing everything that you do to your greens, and then combination of all those things really helps with the speed.
So if they look dry, how do you find out if they're really dry or not?
Well, here I'll just turn around, and my trusty little tool is never far from me. This is a moisture management tool that I use. It's basically a probe that I can stick in the ground, and it ties to an app, and
Beautiful.
it tells me the moisture levels in the top 4 inches of the soil.
Beautiful.
So yeah, it's actually tied to a really nice app, and you go take your probes, and it shows up the shape of the green on the app, and it tells you your moisture level, where your dry areas are, and so on. And so you can just supplement with hand watering. Not a big not a big fan of overheads on greens. So hand watering is definitely one of the keys as well for speed.
So you just reminded me of a story when I was a kid. I had to irrigate the greens at night. I was a night irrigation guy in
Mhm.
college. And the nights I had off, a guy named Dawson would take my place on the nights I had off. And Dawson liked to have a couple beers every now and then. And there was a bar across the street from the golf course. So, you know, you're supposed to be watering the greens throughout the night. And Dawson would be passed out in the bar, and you go by the golf course, and the heads just running nonstop. But I think they got overwatered when Dawson was working. I think.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, right. Well, yeah, it's listen, overwatering is such an easy thing to do. For a lot of people think it's a safe method as well. Oh, get them wet, and that way they won't wilt. But yeah, you really bring in a whole other realm of problems with overwatering. Never mind wasting resources on top of it. But moisture
That's cool though.
management.
You hook that device up to an app to your computer. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's just on my phone. Yeah, and it
Beautiful.
does it does more than that. It gives me moisture readings. It tells me what the electrical conductivity is in the ground. Gives me
Wow.
gives me soil temperature, surface temperature, and it actually gives me soil samples as well, readings. If you're deficient on some things, it actually pops up as an alert. You can set all the limits for everything to a certain threshold, and if anything goes above or low, poof, it just sends me an email. Hey, there's
Wow.
something out of whack here. It's an expensive but really really good tool. You can create
So
all your own GPS maps with it as well.
give me an example. If it's down, let's say a certain mineral, what would you do?
Well, depending on what it is, depending on the minerals, I don't have an alert set for all minerals and all nutrients, but nitrogen levels, if nitrogen's levels get a little bit too low, the next time I open the app, poof, there's a little red dot there that comes up as an alert. And I click on that, then it'll tell me the area. Okay, hey, listen, number 6 green is getting really low and this, and this. Would you like to continue? And then it makes me kind of clear it or go deal with it, one or the other.
Wow, interesting. Interesting. Really
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm big on technology, Mr. McMahon. It's That's one of the things that I've seen in this business. That's the tools that have come that they've come up in these last 20 years to help the local superintendents are just amazing. From the new irrigation systems to these moisture meters, it's there's a lot of good IT tools out there to help local superintendents. So I love using them.
What about any drone technology you've been looking at or considering?
Actually, it's funny you say that. I have a meeting set up for next week here for new infrared drone technology. It's a new company that's going around. They've been around. Well, I believe the company's been around a little while, but they're touring South Florida now, going to courses and want to give us a demo on basically on infrared imagery for drones. So you fly your golf course and it shows you your dry spots. It's another really nice piece of technology. I just need to really put my eyes on it, see if the dollars are worth the benefits, you know. And
Right, right, right.
but if it is, I'll definitely be happy to use that as well. Any tool I can get my hands on to keep beautiful turf, I'll do it.
Right. I saw a video today of a driverless bunker machine.
Oh, yep, yep. That's funny you say that. I just sent a video of one of those to my GM and one of the board members last week. The new GPS bunker machine. And last 2 weeks ago, we actually demoed one of the new robotic fairway mowers out here. We're trying to see if those are feasible for us and would be helpful or not. And so we did a little demo and. It's definitely the way we're going. So
Right, right,
I want to stay abreast with all the new changes on those things. And if it's not this year, maybe it's next year or the year after. But I think we're very close.
beautiful, beautiful. Uh, so you're at Banyan now. Where's the next stop after Banyan?
After Banyan Golf Club, I actually left the golf course business for 8 years. I went and at the time, my second child was just born. I have a now 23-year-old daughter and a 21-year-old son. At the time, my son was just born. So, and all of a sudden, I had 2 kids and I was feeling the pressures of stability and income. And so I actually took a job as the horticulturist for the city of Wellington for 8 years. Worked for the city there through the Obama stimulus days. I don't know if you remember that, but at the time, the city of Wellington received something like $40 million to do all kinds of landscape and irrigation upgrades throughout the city. So they kind of tasked me with that, and we revamped all the irrigation systems throughout the city, upgraded all the parks landscaping. It was a really nice place to work for those years.
And so you were a government employee, basically.
I was,
Did
yes.
you qualify for a pension while you were there, or no?
I did. It's a mini one as I left immediately after I was vested. So I got the entry level, but just enough to buy a little bit of extra chewing gum here and there.
Exactly. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt.
No, no, definitely not. It
All
was
right.
a
So you,
great place to. I became a certified arborist when I worked there, and really got in tune with learning about trees and biology and maintaining the trees to the highest standard possible. So it was a good part of my career to learn a little bit outside the turf.
nice. So from Wellington, you go. Where's the next venue?
So from Wellington, I'd say after 4 or 5 years, I was already starting to feel that I needed to get back to golf course. Again, at the time, it was mostly a financial decision and stability
Right, right,
decision. New
right,
father, and so it was great. It was great for that, but my love for the golf course was calling. So from there, I was looking to get back into golf course, and I finally did get the opportunity to be the superintendent at Meisner Country Club, working for Mr. Larry Savides.
okay. So how long were you at Meisner for?
I was at Meisner for 3 years. It was right at the renovation, when they did the full renovation over there. Immediately after is when I came in, and brand new golf course. Learned a lot as well there. Very, very, very nice golf course. Mr. Savides did some wonderful things over there with that club prior to moving on, I believe, to Hunter's Run now.
Right. So for those of you at home, what Mark is doing, he's actually becoming a better golf course superintendent by moving around to all these different clubs. It's common in our industry to move around because you're trying to learn as much as you can. And I know I moved around a lot. After 3 or 4 years, you've learned about as much as you can at a place. Okay, where am I going next to learn some more? Learn a different way of doing things.
And then, to tell you the truth, in my story there, I got a little bit confused. I forgot that actually, from the city, I went to work for Steve Wright over at Boca West. I can't believe I forgot my friend Steve, but um,
How
yeah,
can
that
you
was a gr
forget Boca West, right?
yeah, I know exactly. It's quite that was quite under Mr. DiPietro and Steve Wright over there. What a place that is.
Yeah, so, yeah,
100.
so tell everybody about Boca West, that people that don't know about it.
Okay, Boca West is an amazing facility. It's actually, I believe, still ranked #1 in the world for customer satisfaction. Really, really high standards for customer satisfaction at Boca West. It's a big, big place. 4 golf courses, practice facilities. We had 100 golf greens to mow every morning. Just to give an
Wow.
idea of the size, 4 golf courses plus the putting greens and driving range greens, and so 100 greens to mow every morning. So it's on a really, really high scale. A lot of golfers. You really have to be scheduled properly to make things work over there. And Steve Wright, that was there at the time, was sure the man for the job. It's a real pleasure working for him. And being a friend of his until he passed away recently here.
So I can only imagine trying to take care of those 4 golf courses, 100 greens. At least one person had to be complaining they're mowing too early out here. They're making too much
That
noise.
there might have been a complaint or two coming from that place. I won't deny that. Um, but yeah, we were definitely, there's a just like I have now, in city of Boca Raton has a noise ordinance. So you're not allowed to make noise up to a certain decibel level until 7 a.m. So we were always kind of pushing the limit, and we'd even get to know, okay, well, when we start on this hole, this guy complains. Well, let's go start on another hole, see if he complains. And we're doing everything we can to push to get things started, get a head start on golfers.
It's not easy.
No,
Uh,
no, definitely not.
how many members did they have there? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I'd like to say 2,000 members.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 30,000 residents in the community. I remember that because I happened to live there at the time as well. Um, big place, and lots of members, lots of events, the facilities and clubhouses and pools over there. It's definitely something to see.
It's
It's quite the operation.
yeah. Uh, so from Meisner, you went to
And so from Boca West, I went to Meisner, and from Meisner Country Club to here, Royal Palm Yacht and Country Club.
so Royal Palm. Tell us a little bit about Royal Palm.
Oh, Royal Palm. Listen, I have nothing but amazing things to say about this place. Of all the places that I've been, and I'm not knocking any of them. I learned at every one of them, but this place is by far my favorite. The membership here is so wonderful. They're such nice people and caring, and really brought me in here and made me feel like family immediately, and just makes it really easy to work hard for people who treat you so well here.
That's nice. That's a great compliment. That's a great
It
compliment.
sure is. And again, I've been to many clubs, and I had played golf here a bunch of times with friends, and I was invited through the years, and always loved the place. And what when when I left Meisner, they had a position open here at the time, and a lot of big projects were on the horizon for this place at the time. One, it was a great golf course. Two, they had just found out that they were going to hold a Champions Tour playoff event, uh, Charles Schwab Cup. So they were kind of, this was maybe a year and a half prior to that event. So they were going to have a Champions Tour event, and immediately after that Champions Tour event, a $12.5 million full golf course renovation. So with all those things that I could see coming at that place, I felt was very exciting, and a lot of big things coming, and it's kind of what it's kind of what feeds me, keeps me going. I see things like that, projects, and things are on the up. Keeps you motivated to get things moving, and I could see a lot of that in this place.
So is Royal Palm? Is that right on the water? I'm guessing.
Yeah, we are. We're directly across the street from the old Boca Resort here in Boca Raton. We're on the Intracoastal. We're touching the water. The golf course, you don't have, except for one hole that you see water. You don't really see water, but you're right next to it. In the community, there's about 300 homes on the golf course, and another 400 homes in here that are not on golf course, but every one of those other 400s are all in the water. So they all have
Okay.
canal, and they have a boat behind. And so it's very much a yacht, very much a yacht club.
Is Royal Palm, is that 18 holes?
Yes, 18 holes,
Okay.
correct.
Okay. So what's your big challenge with growing grass at Royal Palm?
Um, there's always challenges with kind of everything that we do, but we're um, we're a small footprint, if you will. We're lined with we're known as the richest non-gated community in the United States. That's the claim to fame. So meaning we don't have a gate, but all that to say that there's large homes everywhere lining up the fairways on all these holes. So the my challenge would be I suppose dealing with the homes adjacent to golf courses, and what they would like to see out of their home, and what we
Right,
can
right,
and
right,
what we can and can't do.
right,
Which is really different from Adios and Banyan, because there's not one single house on those golf courses. So
right, right,
again,
right,
again, it's another side of things that's great to learn, and dealing with people, trying to be good neighbors, and at the same time being tough enough to keep a good golf course.
right. Yeah, everybody wants the manicured lawn look when they're looking out their back window.
Correct. And no, I don't like those bushes. Can you trim them lower? I
Right.
can't see the green. And
Okay.
there's many requests. Some of them completely normal requests, and maybe a few a little bit more outlandish here and there.
Yeah. That's you're being very kind on that one. Uh,
But as far as Royal
so
Palm too, if I may elaborate a little bit more, Mr. McMahon, at the time there was another director here. I took the position as superintendent here, and through the process, I was here, I don't know, almost 2 years, and finally the club. Well, I shouldn't say finally. The club decided to make changes with the director that was here prior, and I was working really closely with the. I believe you had my boss, Mr. Oosterhouse, on your podcast already. So
right.
yeah, I was Mr. Oosterhouse, and also one of the board members, who's the Greens Committee chairman, Mr. Doug Fash. Both of them gave me a great deal of confidence and trust in me, and I guess through my hard work, decided to give me the position 2 years after being here. So I'm a little over a year into that position here now. So been nice and growing with responsibility and golf course as well, new golf course to go with it. So
Well, you're well qualified, and you well deserved the appointment. That's for sure.
well, thank you very
Uh,
much, sir.
Now you're a golfer, and I know you love golf. So what's your handicap, Mark?
Well, are we playing for money or just a friendly game?
We're playing just for fun.
I'm a 1.1 handicap right now.
Really?
I am.
Wow.
I am. I've always been the biggest golf nut that you'll ever meet. Early in my career, that was kind of really helpful. He's a golf guy, and then after a little while, I felt like I was getting almost a little bit labeled as, well, he's a superintendent, but he's a good golfer. So I kind of have been working hard to switch that around to make sure that everybody understands that I'm a superintendent first, and definitely a golfer second.
So how do you keep your handicap that low? Do you play once a week, or do you practice a couple
I,
times? How do you do it?
Well, all of the above. I have the luxury membership here. Really encourages me to play golf as much as I can, and I definitely like to play my golf course once a week, either with friends or with members. I tend to play a lot with members here. Um, so
Nice, very good.
yeah, that is nice. It's a great way for me to, communicate with them and see parts of the golf course that when you're working, you don't see. It gives me a little advantage that way. It's kind of how I see it. So I like to play here once, and I like to play another golf course as well. I'm recently I've been appointed on the board of the Palm Beach chapter GCSAA. So I have these meetings with all these other superintendents, and love to try to go, play their golf course and invite them over here, and just get out a little bit and see what other golf courses are doing to see if there's anything I can steal to benefit my place.
Right. I know when I was working, at times I would try to play with the most vocal or most critical members, just to play golf with them, and then hear what their problems were, and it usually by the end of 9 holes or 18 holes, we had a nice relationship going on.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Killing them with kindness, and playing 18 holes with them and explaining the problems. It's a great way to, like you say, you take some of your most vocal members. If you can turn them around and make them golf course maintenance fans and advocates, then you really get some good bang for your buck. Instead of complaining, now they're promoting and
Right,
helping other members
right,
understand. So it's definitely a
right.
great way to go about it.
Very good, very
And
good. So
the last part for the golf, as far as practice, I'm lucky enough. When we started the renovation here, I knew there was going to be no golf in my future for a long time. So I actually purchased a little small golf simulator for my house.
nice.
So that's where I get most of my practice, and when I get home late at night.
Yeah. I used to have a net in my garage. I'd go home and hit balls at night in my garage. Yeah.
Exactly.
Um, Let me see here. So how about staffing? Have you had any trouble keeping a full staff?
It's been, I wouldn't say that there's no trouble. Again, with my new position, there's a lot of people that, I've worked with over the years that I kind of told myself that when I get my own golf course, that these are the types of people that I've met throughout my tenures that I'm starting to bring all these people over here. I've already brought in, I believe, 7 people from my prior experiences. People that have worked with me in the past know how I am, that I've either trained or respect quite a bit, and bring them here, and just to really build what I call a winning team here. And it's been a challenge. We're a little bit light still on staff, but we're watching our dollars. It's just because we're a high-end golf course doesn't mean we just hire and hire and we have people everywhere. We're just like everywhere else. We watch our bottom line and try to bring some good people in to see how they can help us, and we're well on our way.
Okay, so at Banyan, who's the superintendent that you work for there again?
My friend Clint Smallridge.
So with Cliff, what would you say the number one trait that he had that made him a great superintendent?
Respect for
If you
employees.
could describe it in one word, if you could.
I'll give you one word. Can it be a sentence?
One word. We're going to keep it one
Um,
word.
one word. Okay, one word that would be patient.
Patient. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, why patient? Why patient?
Because he was really patient. Again, at the time, a young guy and trying to push and come up in the business, and always, hey, I want to do this. Hey, I want to do that. And he had a certain way about him to kind of helped me curb all those things that I wanted to do, but not forgetting them, just strictly, hey, listen, before we go doing this, let's cross our T's, dot our I's. Let's make sure that everything we were going to do is going to be good, and then we'll move forward. So he had a way of kind of telling me no, that he had a great way to, and a good example, we were one of the first at the time to build a paspalum green. Dr. Duncan came over and we were testing some paspalum, and we decided to build a green on the driving range. And I had picked a great location on the front left of the driving range, and these guys finally come in to start doing the work, and I see them heading to another location. I'm like,
Uh-oh.
well, what the heck is going on? I don't want that green there. So I'm all upset and I'm all fired up. And I guess Clint at the time I had made the decision that that's where he wanted it, and he hadn't shared that with me. And so I walk into, hey, what's going on? And all full of piss and vinegar, if you will. And why are we doing this? And why are we doing that? And he just calmly, he used to smoke a pipe. He's a very old school gentleman, was used to smoke an old tobacco pipe. And he took a couple of puffs of his pipe and he looked at me. He's like, Mark, I don't know if it's the best way, but it's the way that I've chosen. And for some reason, that really resonated with me. It's a nice way
Good
to tell
line.
me to, hey, listen, sit down and do what you're told. But he told it to me in a way that, again, didn't hurt my feelings, didn't,
Right,
so
right,
he had
right,
a great way with people.
right. Now, what about the superintendent at Adios that you worked for? What's one word that describes him?
Mike Bailey, one word. Oof, that's a tough one. um, Demanding.
Okay. Can
Yeah,
you give a
my at the
story on
time,
that
like I
one?
said, adios. Yeah, at the time, Adios was my first golf course, right? I'm Northeast Canada, bang to South Florida, so obviously a lot of things are changed and different. But me being who I am, I was still all gung ho, and I'm coming up in the business, and nobody's gonna stop me. And Mike was quick to highlight some of my shortfalls. So quickly, quickly made me realize that I didn't know half as much as what I did, and there's and then he would drive me around. Hey, well, what kind of tree is that? I don't know. Oh, okay. What kind of plant is that? I don't know. So he would kind of highlight all the things that I needed to learn, and just showing me that I really didn't know everything like I thought I did. So yeah, he was very demanding on that side, but great experience. I ran into him again at the Futures of Golf a few weeks ago, 30 years later.
And how about the gentleman at Boca West? What's one word that would describe him?
Oh, that's a tough one. Steve, one word, perfectionist. Steve was very,
Okay.
very regimented at the time. He had just he came from the Carolinas, and he took the job at Boca West, and he was completely trying to change the culture and upgrade everything. And he was really, really focused on the task at hand, and learned a lot about scheduling and keeping people on their schedules, and um, just getting to the results that you want through your management. It was quite incredible to work with him on that side. Like I said, such a big outfit. If you can, just imagine if you order chemicals to spray greens, well, you're spraying 100 greens, so it's quite a lot more chemicals than other places. And then, so everything that we
Right,
did there
right,
was
right.
such big and huge, and it was big projects. So the whole scheduling and everything being perfect was definitely Steve's bread and butter.
Interesting.
Just in case you didn't know, Steve moved on after that to go work at Pine Tree Golf Club, and I believe after a couple of years, was it a couple of years, maybe a little bit more, suddenly passed away from I'm not even sure of the cause. Steve, we were still, a lot of us were still very close with him. Used to still play golf with him every Fridays, and from one week to the next, just like that, he was gone. And it's
Wow.
yeah, it was very difficult. We grew to have a really nice relationship, especially after I left working there. When I was there, it was a boss to employee kind of
Right, right,
relationship,
right.
and it was tough because we were both very strong willed and so on. But once I stopped working there, we became much closer friends, and yeah, I missed the guy.
So going over your stops, you've worked at some really good clubs, Mark. Really good clubs, and for some good people.
I did. I absolutely did. And from the beginning, Mr. McMahon, it's kind of the path that I chosen, that I really wanted to be on high-end golf courses. Not that there's anything wrong with any other types of golf. It's golf, and it's great. But something really attracted me to the high end, the level of details, and all the everything that goes with it. And throughout my career, I tried to pick nothing but high end places, and which kind of explains why I was an assistant for so long as well. I
Right.
went for such high end clubs that it's not an easy thing to get those top jobs. Just walk into a club and sure, here's the director position.
Right.
It's definitely been a struggle, but I really used all my experiences to better myself to get where I am now.
Yeah, I think it's the way to go. I think it's good advice to anybody starting out in the business. Work at the highest end club you can possibly work at, because there's more
Yeah.
more doors open up eventually.
Yeah, and then listen, in the long run too, it's a little bit safer. We get hit with these recessions and all these things.
Right,
Usually,
right.
the higher end clubs, you would hope would survive those shortfalls and things like
Good
that, to
point.
where other clubs might shut down or cut back half your staff. Or so I always felt like it was a little bit safer, also to be at a higher end club.
Okay, so here comes a couple more questions. Give me one thing that you're grateful for this past week.
This past week, oh man, now that's going to be a tough one because I
Just
had one
one, just
heck of a
one.
week. I had one heck of a tough week. One thing that I'm grateful for, okay, I'll say my brand new two-wire irrigation system we just installed.
Now, how'd that help you out?
Well, it's super, super hot down here this last week here, and hot spots everywhere and things like that. And the flexibility of the new system, and the software that I have for it, it just makes my life so much easier. Just driving by a hole with my iPad, I can change any sprinklers, run time, adjust percentages, make it come on more or less. All while driving by, to where we used to have an older system prior to this, and something like that would take me 30 minutes to do before I can do it in 5 seconds now. So
Wow,
the productivity of this, all this new software, and how it helps me do all my things faster and better, is I'm so grateful. This past week, with all this heat with my old system, man, I would have a few more gray hairs, I think.
that's incredible. It really
Yeah,
sounds impressive.
it is. It's awesome system.
Then let me see if I can find a couple more here for you. How much sleep do you get a night on average?
Well, my boss is gonna read this. I'd say I sleep 8 hours every night, sir.
Very
But
good. That's great.
but the truth is, I'm probably more like 5.5, I would say.
Okay. So somewhere between 5.5 and 8?
Yeah, 5 to 7, I would say, is
All
really
right.
my range. Yeah.
Maybe he's going to make you get a little more sleep, maybe.
Well, he's already mentioned it a couple of times, so hopefully he doesn't tune in too soon.
Uh, all right, I'm going to put you on the spot on this one.
Mm-mm.
Give me one person that you had a positive impact on their life the past week.
This past week, today is Monday, so we'll go with last week. Did I have a positive impact on this week? Okay, that is a good one there. Okay, my spray tech and my chemical tech. Um, Both of them, I don't have an assistant here, Mr. McMahon. I'm kind of in between and looking for somebody. But so my irrigation tech and my chemical techs are basically, I consider them my assistants here, and they're related. And in the years past, they were never able to take vacation at the same time, because two of them gone being a little too much for the person that was here before me. Well, I actually broke the mold, and I let them take the vacation together. So it definitely impacted them positively, because they both got in their car and went to North Carolina to see their mother that's ill, and so on. But man, I've been spraying greens and dragging a hose for 7 or 8 days here. So I'm glad it impacted them positively.
That's good. That's a good boss, to be honest with you. You're looking out for your guys.
I am, and listen, that's probably my number one thing that I think I'm pretty decent at, is my level of respect and compassion for my team. I take all those hockey analogies and I apply that to work very much. And once you're on my team, there's not many things I wouldn't do for you. I treat these people like family, and they treat me the same way, And so the treating them with respect and professionalism is definitely helps me get extra out of all my guys.
You know what? I think that's the key. What you mentioned right there. You treat them really well, they're going to treat you really well.
Yeah.
You treat them like garbage, they're going to treat you like garbage.
Yeah, correct. And I've always been, even with this new position. Listen, I'm a hands-on guy. I don't care what title you want to give me. You're not going to be able to lock me in the office 7 days and keep me in there doing emails. I'm a golf course superintendent, and I got to where I am by being the best at all the jobs. And I love to show the guys that side of me too. And every day I'll jump on a piece of machinery or just do something that they see me do and do well, and it just makes it easier for when I'm talking to the guys, because they know I know how to do it. I'm not just saying it. I've actually lived it, so it helps to get a little credibility from the guys. They see me working and they respect that, and vice versa.
How much would you say you study your craft each week? If you had to put an hour on it.
I'd say outside of regular duties, right? You just mean
Right.
above and beyond.
Right. Like,
I would say about 5 hours a week.
wow, that's a lot. That's good though. You staying on
I
top of
do.
everything.
I do a lot of research for products, for cultural practices. I'm always talking to. I have a really nice network of friends and local superintendents, and I'm not one to be stubborn or no. I know how to do that. I'm very open minded on how I could always do something better, and it's really helped me to keep that open mind. Found some great products and great techniques by just having an open mind. So I tend to look for that info and use it.
So what's the number one thing you have to get done in the next 7 days?
In the next 7 days, number one. To the date today, no, my next closure, we have a closure coming up for a week, but it's July 29th. That's not next week. In this week to come, I want to focus on my new fairway foliar applications. We do monthly fairway foliar applications where I make my little love potions, and in the week to come here, I want to treat all fairways, tees, greens, surrounds with my new foliar treatment, including
And what what
Primo.
is what does the foliar treatment do for the turf?
Well, it's a multitude of things. It's usually in my foliar sprays, there's 8 to 10 different products that goes into the tank when we spray those. You know, many things for the soil, nutrients for turf, wetting agents, growth regulator, which should be everybody's favorite word this time of year, because with the rains that you get, if you're not using the plant growth regulators, you're going to be mowing a lot of turf. So keep keeping things under control, not growing too fast, is a big part. So basically, that foliar greens things up, keep things wet without making things grow.
Very good. Uh, what would make the next seven? What would happen in the next 7 days? And you say, "Boy, that was a great week we just had." What would be one thing that would make the week great coming up?
Um, well, I'll tell you the truth, though, I have such a long schedule of things that I'm trying to get done. Just accomplishing my schedule, I think would be,
Knocking off the to-do list.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm scheduled like I have 30 people, but I don't. So,
All right, here's the last one. What's one problem you want to take care of this week coming up?
any signs of drought? It's been my focus. Last last week here, I had 3 or 4 days and 95, 96 degrees, and the golf course kind of caught me off guard a little bit. Don't forget, this is a brand new golf course as well, our first summer with it. So I'm learning all the new dry spots and new trouble areas. And last week, with my chemical tech on vacation and my irrigation tech on vacation, I got a bunch of hot spots that started popping up everywhere. And worked really hard at them last week, and if in the next 3 or 4 days here we can make them all disappear, and which I think we will, I'll be very pleased with that.
So, in closing here, Mark, if you had a 21-year-old in front of you right now and they wanted to get into the golf course turf industry on the superintendent, become a superintendent one day, what would you tell them to do? What advice would you give them?
Um, One, think about it twice. Um, it's an For me, it's the most amazing job in the world because this is what I love to do. So, that cliche saying, "Oh, if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life." Well, I have to say that's really my life, because this is by far, I feel, the best job, and I love it. So I don't feel like I'm going to work, or never go to work backwards anyway. But for a 21-year-old, things are different now. A lot of and I have a 21-year-old, my son. He just graduated, got his MBA last week here. So he's going
Oh,
out to
good.
the work. He's going out to the workforce, and but to get into this business, the difficulty of this business, the expectations, you better love it, because if you don't love it, it's going to be very, very difficult to last.
Looking at it from afar, I was always amazed. There's so much stuff that a golf course superintendent can't control, and yet he's held responsible for it.
Sure.
The weather, equipment breaking down, people not showing up for work. It's hard to control that stuff.
Correct. It sure is. Yeah, you're expected to wear many, many, many hats, and in most cases, you're only paid to wear one hat, but they ask you to do 7 or 8 hats and things like that. You have to be people's friends. You have to be a psychiatrist. You have to be a trainer. There's many, many things that you have to do that when you go to school, that stuff's not in the book.
Well, Mark, this was great. You really gave me a good education. I'm sure you gave everybody else a good education too, especially the ones who are just starting out in the business. It's not an easy road, but if you love it and you hang in there, like you landed in a nice spot, and congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. Pleasure to be on your show here. I saw a couple of your past guests, including Mr. Oosterhouse and Steve Urbar before that. So I'm honored just to be on here. Thank you very much.
All right, Mark, best of luck, and I hope the Rangers win the Stanley Cup next year, not the Canadians.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. I can't hear you. Have a great day, sir.
All right, have a good day, Mark.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.